Creativity, it's a daily journey, and every step you take, no matter how small, contributes to your growth. And it doesn't matter how fast you go, as long as you don't stop. Welcome to the BDI Create Today podcast. This is a podcast where we uncover and discover the who, what, where, when, why, and how you can be creative or have more creativity. And together we'll explore the extraordinary impact creativity can have in your life, in heart, mind, body, and soul. And if we haven't met yet, I'm Beth Buffington, a licensed artist, digital illustration instructor, and a creative coach living just outside of the Windy City, Chicago. But mostly, I'm someone who is curious about how creativity can weave its way into nearly everything in our lives. Each week, we are going to look at one or more of the sparkly facets that make up the ever-changing kaleidoscope that is creativity. Hello, my creative friend. Welcome back to another episode of BDI Create Today. I am so glad you are here with me as we continue to explore how the incredible power of creativity can make us happier and even healthier and, depending on your goals, possibly more successful in heart, mind, body, and soul. Now, lately, I have been noticing that quite often, the happiest moments that are shared with me from my family and friends are times or events when they were creating something. So recently, just with my family, I have heard about embroidery from my mom. It's keeping her busy while she is in the hospital. And from my daughter, Corey, she has been making gorgeous loaves of sourdough bread. They are almost too pretty to eat. Almost. My daughter, Emily, has been canning and baking with fruits that were picked from my parents' land, like blueberries, rhubarb, peaches. Just a sampling from the deliciousness that she's been making with jellies and preserves, muffins, and etc. And Tommy has been concocting homemade pizzas. Each of his pizzas are a beautiful creation to see, as well as to eat. And he often takes a picture of the most beautifully, visually tantalizing pizzas, and he sends them to the girls as wish you were here. Mom and I are having pizza. So my grandchildren, they have been busy too. Perler beads have been a passion with my grandsons, Will and Sam. And these are little beads that are arranged on a grid and then ironed by a capable grown-up. And when they're ironed, they all kind of fuse themselves together and they make these super creative, fun pieces of art. My girls did a lot of perler beads when they were little, and now the fun is being passed down to that next generation. It's pretty cool. My granddaughters, Fiona and Autumn, are always busy with crafts and art, and lately setting up elaborate Barbie stories. So they have these really big setups where something is happening, and then they have these elaborate stories to match. Like their Barbies have been camping, and there's huge camp setups. They've been at a farm, and they have this huge farm with all the farm animals. These Barbies, they are powerful women, my friends, who can do pretty much anything. So I love hearing stories about what inspired my family members to do their projects and how they took an idea like a recipe, a Pinterest pin, or something straight from their imagination and made it uniquely theirs to share. So today, I want to kick off this episode by talking to you about the importance of a daily creative practice and also the importance of sharing your creativity with others. The goodness that creativity creates is a joy to share. So first, let's talk about a daily practice. What will you create today? Or have you already created today? I know firsthand how tricky it can be to find time every single day to create something. But trust me when I say finding time to have a daily creative practice, it is worth it. And remember, we're not talking about hours of creativity each day. Some days you might have an entire day or a morning or afternoon just to put towards whatever your creative passion might be. But other days, life is huge and you might only have a few minutes to even think about being creative. But even these micro moments of creative thinking, it all adds up, and every single creative moment counts. And I'm not just speaking from personal experience. There's solid science that backs this up. So let's take a moment to just skim the surface on what research has discovered about having and actually keeping a daily creative practice. Here are 3 beautiful reasons how having a daily creative practice is going to actually make you a healthier, a happier, and yes, even a more successful creative. Number 1, engaging in creative activities regularly can actually enhance your cognitive function and boost your emotional resilience. So, simply put, you're going to be able to think and solve problems better and faster, and you'll be emotionally stronger. Sounds pretty nice, right? So think of creativity as exercise for your brain. When you're creating, whether it's writing, painting, crafting, or creating spreadsheets, because yes, that can be your creative passion, when you are creating, you're forming new neural pathways that with every minute of creativity is going to improve your ability to think critically and to solve problems. So now if you're thinking neural what? That's a good question. What's a neural pathway? So here's a metaphor to verbally illustrate. Imagine that your brain is just this big, lush forest. Now, every time you work on your creativity, say you're trying out a new brush or experimenting with a different technique, it's like blazing a trail through that lush forest. At first, the trail is going to be pretty rough. There's going to be branches and rocks in the way, maybe some uneven ground. And just like when you're first learning a new skill, it can feel a bit slow or feel like you're not making progress because there's so many obstacles in your way and the going is just slow. But here's the cool part. The more you walk on this trail that you have carved out, and creatively, this happens by practicing or repeating a creative skill or activity again and again, the more you are walking on that path, the smoother and easier the trail gets. So the smoother and easier this creative task or skill that you're learning is going to become. Does that make sense? So over time, this trail becomes clearer, it becomes wider, it becomes much easier to follow. And soon you'll be zipping along this trail lickety-split like you're a beautiful sports car flying down a smooth blacktop highway. And this is what happens in your brain when you're creating daily. The trails in your brain that you are blazing as you work are these neural pathways, and they get stronger and more defined each time you use them. Eventually, if you keep at it, that little trail will become a very familiar path or road that you know and understand every single twist and turn, and everything on that road then will start to feel natural and effortless. And that's the magic of a daily creative practice. It turns new or tricky things into something familiar and comfortable, all because you've paved a strong neural pathway in your brain through your daily practice. Number 2, Another interesting way to think creatively and have a creative practice every day and reap the benefits of said practice is through meditation. A study from 2014 showed that even short-term creative meditation can lead to significant improvements in your creative thinking and your emotional regulation. Now, I know that meditation might feel hard, especially if you have trouble sitting still and keeping your brain quiet. Being still and focused can seem impossible when you're trying to meditate. But my friend, I have a solution that I'll be sharing at the end of this episode. So stay tuned for a super fun, creative way to meditate that will keep your brain creatively blissed out. Number 3, creativity is not just about getting things done. It's not just about making that next great masterpiece. Sometimes, sure, some days you're going to see a masterpiece created. But the real importance of a daily creative practice is super simple. It's about the doing and finding joy in the process of doing something creative each day. So if you dedicate the time, you can enjoy falling joyfully into a state of creative flow. Now, flow state, that's a fancy term for being in a creative zone where everything is just clicking. It's that magical moment when you're so fully immersed in what you're doing that you lose track of time and the work feels almost effortless. So you're completely focused. Your creativity is firing on all cylinders. But again, you're focusing on the pure joy of the doing. You're not stressed out about perfection or making that masterpiece. So being in flow is a state of just pure enjoyment of doing the creative whatever, where everything just seems to, well, flow naturally. It's easiest to glide into a flow state when you are working on a project that is just super enjoyable to you. And at the same time, it's easy to accomplish. So I think the rule of thumb here is that a flow state project is going to be 10% challenging to your brain. So you're going to have something that's fun to figure out, but not impossible. Your brain is connecting easy yet interesting solutions together. And this ease makes you relax, and keeping the task interesting keeps your brain from wandering, and you stay focused on what connection is going to happen next. This ease and yet interest creates the flow that your activity is providing. So think about creative activities that are rather repetitive, but have very few dead ends where you're going to get stuck, right? And yet you are still going to require some thought to execute and connect those problems together. So for example, for me, some flow tasks are like when I am shading or smudging objects that I've already drawn, or when I'm creating fur on the animals that I'm drawing, or when I am singing songs that I have already learned. There's just pure enjoyment in letting loose the words I've memorized and the melodies I know. Or actually, when I'm just coloring with my grandchildren, I get into flow there. Consider what you could add to your daily practice to create activities that encourage your brain to glide into a flow state. Because, my friend, creative flow can lead to greater happiness and fulfillment in your life. Now, you might be wondering, Beth, how can I think of what to do to keep a daily practice, especially when life gets hectic? What am I going to do? How am I going to figure out how to take up this time, whether it's micro moments or even, a dedicated hour? What am I going to do? And that's where the Create Today community can come and help you out. The Create Today community can serve as a place of artistic refuge and creative inspiration for you. And as you may already know, Create Today isn't just a podcast. The podcast is just one of the many facets available to you to enjoy as a creative. The Create Today community is a vibrant and colorful space that is full of creative resources. And even better, it's a community of like-minded creatives who support each other's creative voice. Being part of the Create Today community gives you access to so many valuable resources. There is a wealth of information from workshops, live events, creative tutorials, online courses, and creative prompts, and a very special membership and creative one-to-one coaching. All this designed to help you expand your skills, get and stay inspired so you can reach the goals you have for your creative self. Whether you're just starting out, just figuring out what your creative passion is, or you're a creative hobbyist that's really busy but wants to have some extra inspiration, or if you're a seasoned creator wanting to sell and make money with your art, there's something here in the Create Today community for everyone. But beyond the resources that I'm talking about, here's what makes this community truly special, and that is the support that you are going to find. When you're part of the Create Today community, you're not alone in your creative journey. You are able to connect and network with creatives who share your passion. And having creative friends from around the world is amazing for your inspiration, for your motivation, and for your creative confidence. So whether you're looking for advice, or you need help with your creative goals, or you want resources for new ideas, or you want to find other creatives who can share the creative highs and lows with you, the Create Today community is here and has your creative back. And here's the thing. Creativity, it thrives in a supportive environment. And when you're part of a community, you're exposed to different perspectives, to new ideas, and endless inspiration. And this kind of collaboration often leads to breakthroughs you might not achieve on your own. And when you're in a community like Create Today, you are going to realize that you're not alone in your goals as a creative. You're going to find people who get you and understand how hard it is to have creative dreams about a destination that is going to take you to creative success. So imagine how the power of a community like Create Today can help you unlock your full creative potential. So I really want to thank you for joining me today. And if you're still listening, it's because you are creative who has some substantial goals and knows that you have substantial potential. So don't let the creative information and fun end here. I encourage you first to figure out what your daily commitment to your creativity might be. And then if you found value in today's creative chat, I want you to continue nurturing your creative journey. And I personally invite you to join the Create Today community. Come and hop onto our newly designed Create Today website. Inside, you're going to be able to explore free and almost free tutorials, sign up for new workshops, check out online courses, and benefit from personalized coaching opportunities and the special Create Today membership. And earlier in this podcast, I talked to you about some exciting information on meditation and being creative. This fall, we are going to have a special Doodle meditation workshop. It's going to be a time where you can get together with me and learn how doodling can become something that is going to help you determine your creative goals, figure a good way to use doodling as a way to bring about your creative daily practice. So come and sign up for the Doodle Meditation Workshop. It is only $29 and you have 3 dates to pick so you can find a date that works for you. I can't wait to see you in person and help you figure out how doodling and meditation can become part of your daily practice. So visit www.bdi-create.today to become part of this vibrant community of beautiful creatives. And you'll be able to find those free and almost free resources and sign up for the workshops that are coming to you this fall. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of BDI Create Today. Remember, my friend, creativity, it's a daily journey, and every step you take, no matter how small, contributes to your growth. And it doesn't matter how fast you go, as long as you don't stop. Until next time, remember to carve out a bit of time for your daily creative practice. What might that be, my friend? Think on it. And if you need that inspiration, check out www.bdi-create.today to help you figure out how to find time and figure out how you can become a happier, healthier, and yes, even more successful creative. Until we chat again next week, stay creative, my friend.